I recently made a video about the worst junior driver lineup in motorsport history, and you lot seem to really enjoy that video, so I thought the next logical step would be to make one about the best junior lineup there's ever been. Now, I had to do quite a lot of digging to find this one, as it's quite hard to find a time when a singular team held so many top talents all at the same time in one single category. But when I not only saw the calibre of driver that was in this junior team, but also how successful they were in this specific season, it was almost impossible for me to not choose this lineup. The lineup in question raced for ART Grand Prix team in the 2016 GP3 Championship. This lineup between them scored 588 points, almost double the amount of points their nearest constructors' rivals could muster. Arden scored a measly 297 in reply, and that's a differential of 291 points to the good for ART. So you're now wondering, who was in this fantastic lineup? Well, there's a few names you might have heard of: Charles Leclerc, Alexander Albon, Nick de Vries and Nirei Fukuzumi. That's a serious lineup for one humble GP3 season. So, let's get into it. ART GP3 2016, the greatest junior formula lineup of all time. As in the worst junior team lineup video, we'll go through the drivers one by one, and we'll start with the driver you might not have heard of, Nirei Fukuzumi. He's a very decent driver, with career highlights including a Japanese Formula 4 championship win, multiple race wins in the 2017 GP3 championship where he ended up third in those standings, and despite a tough 2018 Formula 2 campaign, he seems to be rediscovering his mojo in Japanese GT racing, along with racing in the Super Formula. In this 2016 season, it was his first season outside of Japan, and so a big learning curve for him, yet he still scored 3 podiums, including a second place at Sepang. He ended this GP3 season 7th in the standings, the lowest of the 4 ART drivers, but that's still quite impressive. Bearing in mind he'd never raced outside of Japan before, we have to cut him some slack, so a few podiums is not too bad. Now, let's move into the 3 ones you've definitely heard of, and just before we get into these 3 drivers, if you are new around here and enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe to see more content like this. Now, onto the 3 you've certainly heard of. Next up is Nick de Vries, you know, the kid from Toon who took Jenson Button's McLaren for a spin to Gerhard Berger's? Well, that was in 2012 on the TV show, and here he was racing in GP3 for ART in 2016. Well, how did that go, I hear you shout? Well, it was pretty decent, to be fair. Coming off the back of a successful 2014 and 2015 Formula Renault campaigns, he had high expectations, and he took 3 wins in the season at Monza and Yas Marina, along with an array of podiums to end up 6th in the standings. He was compromised by an off weekend in Hungary where he scored no points, but other than that he was quite impressive. Since then he's won Formula 2, won Formula E, and basically done everything to deserve a Formula 1 seat except actually get said Formula 1 seat. But anyway, he's a talented driver and I'm sure there's more to come from him. The fact he's won F2 and Formula E just shows how good this lineup was. From Nick de Vries and Nirei Fukuzumi in 6th and 7th in this standings in 2016, let's now move to the top 2 from this season. So, second place in the 2016 GP3 standings went to none other than Alexander Albon, meaning Charles Leclerc was victorious. Let's talk about Alex Albon first, who actually scored more wins than Charles Leclerc in that championship, taking 4 to Leclerc's 3, yet he was still 25 points behind Charles come the end of the season. Well, this was mainly down to a double DNF at the final round of the season, allowing Leclerc to maintain his lead of 25 points coming into that final round, as Leclerc also scored no points in Abu Dhabi. Well, how has Alex Albon fared since 2016 with ART? Well, 2017 saw him move to Formula 2, and he had another infamous battle with Leclerc in Abu Dhabi, and in 2018 he took 4 wins on the way to a 3rd in a highly competitive Formula 2 field. Then he went to Toro Rosso in 2019 and was shoehorned into Red Bull mid-season and then unceremoniously dropped at the end of 2020, rightly or wrongly. And since then he's snapped up a 2022 deal with Williams. He's a multiple podium finisher in Formula 1 and surely a Grand Prix winner of the future, so this was almost certainly not a bad driver for ART to have on their 2016 campaign. Last of the drivers to talk about is Charles Leclerc, and unless you've been living under a rock, you'll know that he's a 2-time Grand Prix winner in Formula 1. Having won in Spa, he won in Monza. I'd love to use the actual footage for that, but I don't want to get copyrighted, so you've got my wish.com version instead, sorry. Well, he was also the 2016 GP3 champion with ART, taking 3 wins, all in feature races, and then many consistent podiums to take the title by 25 points. After that, he then went and won F2 in 2017 and then has been brilliant in Formula 1 since 2018. He's surely a multiple world champion of the future, and with a huge regulation change coming on the way in 2022, who knows, his first championship might come sooner rather than later. I feel like there's almost less to say about the driver who we all know so well. It's pretty clear to any Formula 1 fan that Charles Leclerc is something special. I genuinely think that Ferrari will be at the sharp end of the grid in 2022 and that Charles could be in at the shop for the championship title. I can't wait for this to age like milk. Overall, I would comfortably say that this ART lineup is the best that Junior Formulas has ever seen. It's so rare that you get such an array of talent all concentrated into one category, let alone the same team at the same time in the same season. The way that these four dominated that series is a testament to all of their talent, and I think it's very impressive. Now, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and let me know what you think of this lineup in the comments section below. Subscribe if you are new around here and you want to see Formula 1 content, and I will catch you in the next one. Later, guys.